Love to get your thoughts on e-commerce websites, like ours, Shoes of Prey, and what other e-commerce sites are doing in the mobile space, and if we should be starting to look at it.
Sure. I think so Magma Mobile is a multi-platform agency. What we mean by that is that we can develop for iPhone and for Android and Windows Mobile, and we're still very keen on understanding the trends and all that. Having said that, it's true that we are very Android focused because of my past, and also because the two developers I work with are very open source oriented, and they like the philosophy behind Android. But to go back to your question, I think it highly depends on the platform and also the operators behind it.
Hmm.
If we look at the iPhone, 70% of the apps are paid and 30% are free, roughly.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the opposite for Android. Most of the apps, 70% are free and 30% are paid.
Right.
And it's due to a few things. First of all, the Android paid market is not available everywhere, but the free one technically is available everywhere, so that's a big deal. Then it's also about the purchasing experience. As far as the iPhone goes, when you create your account, your iTunes account, you're being asked for your credit card right away, and then the day you want to purchase something, boom, you can do it.
Yep.
Um, as far as Android is concerned, you can just use the system right away and not have to think about purchasing anything. So with Apple, it's more like frictionless in the first place than it is
Hmm.
with Google when you have to use Google Checkout and all that. But what's going to change things a lot is what we call billing
Hmm.
operator billing. I don't know which way it goes, but basically the fact that you're going to be able to connect every single purchase you made with with your phone with your phone operator, and that's going to be so much easier, and everything's going to come on your bill at the end of the month. So I think as far as Android is concerned, the purchasing experience is not that great yet,
Hmm.
and in-app purchases cannot be done. It can be done on the iPhone. So there's still a lot to come
Yep.
on that front. But I would say that there's, to answer your question, there's a technical side of it, which is to really be able to create apps and make the purchase within the app, and connect all of that to the actual business side of it, which is how the billing works and how it's going to go through. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. And yeah, you think the upside of the business is the sort of thing we should be doing as opposed to doing a web-based, a mobile-friendly, web-based version of our
It's
site and designer.
it, it is a question we get all the time, even from our clients, because obviously the idea of a web base is very attractive because you only have to do it once, and then people are on the web,
Right.
and you don't have to, and you can update the web, and then everything is updated. It's true that it's somehow a pain whenever you want to update, to push an
Mm.
update to users who are gonna update your application or not.
Yep.
Having said that, what's great with application is the fact that you don't have to load so much stuff.
Yep. Yep.
It's already on your phone. What
Mm.
you're really loading is the updated content and so on and so forth. So that's why the vast majority of games are just pure apps.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of Shoes of Prey and the designer, and the fact that having the designer as an app would mean that we not have to load as a
Mm.
web app. I mean, it's still an ongoing discussion, and to some extent, I think people in the industry wish or think that eventually everything is going to move back to the web
Yep.
as everything gets faster and the technologies move further. But we're really in this weird space at the moment where it does make sense to create applications,
Yeah.
dedicated applications. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And I think if for the iPhone we'd have to anyway because our design is built in Flash, so it doesn't work on the iPhone. And the iPad as well. What are your thoughts on what that's going to do to the space?
I think it's really exciting. I think it's more competition push. It just pushes everybody. I think as far as Google is concerned, they've been thinking about it for a while now, and the big question was whether they were going to use Android or they were going to push Chrome for these kind of devices. So we're still looking at for this kind of things. Obviously, it would be great if we could push some of our application to bigger screens, and I think this is really an expertise that Google has now that Apple doesn't necessarily have, is the fact that there are so many devices that they really had to build a platform where whenever you build an application, it can work for any kind of devices of any size. Mm-hmm. At the end of 2008, there was only one, and we both had that phone, the HTC G1. There was only one Android phone, and by the end of 2009, there were 20 of them, mm-hmm. and with three different sizes. So it had to be well thought of, so we could create application and just use percentages in whatever we do, so it can scale in a good way.
Yep. No, that's...
What's your take on mobile as far as shoes of praise is concerned, and have you thought about reaching out to users in a mobile way?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a tricky one. I mean, I suppose like you were saying, we've got to think through the ROI on everything that we do and the opportunity cost of everything that we do, and we've got a pretty massive to-do list at the moment, and I suppose we've sort of thought about mobile a little bit, and it's kind of sat at the end of the to-do list and hasn't really moved down. I suppose one thing that's we've put a bit of thought into is it'd be with the iPad coming out, it'd be fantastic to have in a retail store setting, have an iPad there with the designer on, it done in an app, so that people could sort of design shoes in the retail store. So thinking through that has sort of led to, maybe we should be doing an iPhone app with our designer, and sometime down the track, and once we build that, hopefully we could integrate sort of payment systems and everything into that. So that's a little bit of a thought down the mobile space, but yeah, I guess we haven't really given it a lot more thought than that.
How many retailers retailers partners do you have at the moment selling your shoes?
So only a couple in Sydney, but it's something that we're working on. So we're trying to pitch sort of to retailers to buy our shoes wholesale, and then we're not at the moment. We're not pitching so much adding the design your own shoe functionality into stores, because we don't have an application that works on something like an iPad, and we've done a bit of testing with it, and it seems that customers prefer to go and see and touch the shoes in store, take a business card and go home and design the shoes in their own time. But we would like to change that. So yeah, doing something like an iPhone or an iPad application could help. I guess one thought we had on that front was that Dell and other people like that are obviously going to launch competitors to the iPad, and hopefully they'll run Flash, and we'll be able to use our normal designer on them pretty easily. So we kind of thought maybe we'll just wait for that. But then I also saw Nike ID with their customized sneakers. They've got a fantastic iPhone application. It's brilliant. You can take a photo of something, and the app will pull the colors out of that photo and put them onto a shoe for you. It's really, really, really slick and really impressive. But I mean, I don't know what sort of sales or anything they're getting out of that. Have you seen any apps done by online retailers and e-commerce sites that are really good?
I was more thinking of what Google has been doing in terms of imagery with Google Shopper and Google Goggles. Where you can really point to something and it recognizes it, and then it brings you to the web. And I think it's great to be able to search beyond text and beyond voice and bring image in. And I would be I'm interested in seeing to what extent Google releases as an API, as an open source API, the way they actually do it, or is it too proprietary to actually do it. I think they're bringing a lot of their image search knowledge into it, so I'm not sure if they will, but I think it's fascinating. Yeah.